Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back for a Friday edition of the Steel City Sports Report, where we talk everything Steelers, Penguins, and Pirates. I am your host, Brady Vini, and we have made it. This is it. The final time that we all will convene here before Sunday's season opener between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the New York Jets. Excited that real football is right around the corner. We get to finally see Aaron Rodgers, DK Metcalf, TJ Watt back on a football field, Cam Haight. Actually, we're going to get to that here in a matter of moments. Start there. The final big question of the offseason and the most drama-filled one still needs answering. Will Cam Heyward play this weekend? We got maybe an answer, kind of, as if he would play this weekend. Today, Heyward practiced once again, so turns out him missing practice yesterday for the black and gold was just him taking an off day that he, normally does. But he did speak to the media today. Was supposed to speak yesterday, I believe, but today he did talk. What all he had to say, there was a lot to dissect there. We will begin there in a matter of moments. Also, the other big topic that we will discuss today, the Pittsburgh Pirates. They, last night, just doing the unthinkable to one of the best teams and one of the highest payroll teams in all of baseball, the LA Dodgers. What all went down last night and what is ahead tonight. The Pittsburgh Pirates about to begin a new series this evening against the Milwaukee Brewers. And we will talk about those two things and anything else that we happen to come across along the way. Before we officially get underway here on this fantastic Friday, let me say, as usual, if you are new here to the channel, welcome. Glad to have you. Subscribe if you have not done so already, and turn on notifications so that you never miss when I am live or upload any sort of other content again. Also, I would appreciate it if you leave a like, share this live stream, and leave a comment in the comments section. Any thoughts, questions, or opinions that you may have, we can discuss those at really any point during the show. You get those comments in. I can see them here on the screen. I can pop them up at my own free will, and we can discuss and interact that way. Also, like normal, go give the channel a follow at Steel City SR on the following social media platforms, and come back later tonight for a new edition of SCSR 60. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's officially get this Friday show on the road, and we are going to, once again, hopefully this is the last time we start the day talking about Cam Heyward. Pretty much every single day that I have been live this week, we've started with this whole Cam Heyward situation. Could this saga, filled with so many twists and turns, people siding with Heyward, more people saying Heyward has completely tarnished his legacy here in Pittsburgh. Can we finally please get to the end of this? Today, we had another Cam Heyward sighting at practice. He, on the south side, leading drills once again. Kind of curious wardrobe selection for Heyward today. Was doing drills, but underneath his jersey, it was just, jersey shells. There wasn't any pads, per usual for the Steelers today in their final day before they go over to New Jersey. But underneath Heyward's jersey, wearing a buttoned-up white-collar dress shirt. And lots of people were like, all right, nobody, not a single person before has ever decided to wear that shirt of all shirts underneath their jersey. So what the hell is Cam Heyward alluding to there? Does that mean, he's showing up for business? Could he be wearing that saying, hey, a deal is close to being done and I want to wear this nice shirt, even though I'll probably sweat through it for when I take my pictures of renegotiating this contract here? Kind of strange for him. But then after practice, went inside. Heyward speaking with the media, was supposed to, I believe, speak with the media yesterday, but today instead is when he talked. And Heyward, a lot to say for him. Beginning here with the big one, Heyward asked if he is playing on Sunday. He did not give a definitive answer, sort of left an open-ended answer to that. Said, doesn't know what's going on yet. Said that this whole situation of getting a contract done has been difficult. He said that the process has dragged out way more than he would like to. But he said that both sides are still talking here, his group and the Steelers, and he is still holding out hope that he can get his contract reworked before kickoff on Sunday. More of what Heyward had to say. A good question from Dejan Kovacic of DK Pittsburgh Sports. Cam was asked point blank if it is a clear-cut thing. If he gets paid, he will be out there Sunday. If he doesn't get paid, he will not play Sunday. Was asked if it was as black and white as that sounds. Heyward says, I wish I had a straight answer for you right now. All I can tell you is I've had a lot of tough conversations with my family. That's a kind of interesting answer right there. So more on that here in a minute. Just continuing on, trying to get through everything Heyward said in his press conference today. Was asked about his availability this season if he does not play Sunday. That question coming from Brooke Pryor, Steelers beat reporter for ESPN. He said that he didn't want to think about it. Quote, I'd like to think cooler heads prevail and we move forward. But if it does get to that, we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Sounds like his answer there. He would rather, just have some sort of kumbaya, let's, shake hands and just play through the year instead of, if Cam misses out this weekend, he doesn't want to miss out any more games. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. His words exactly there. Also acknowledged that talking about, we'll cross the bridge if we get there, seeing if he misses this weekend, will he miss any more? He did acknowledge that the Steelers do not negotiate contracts in season. That has been an odd, old school rule that the Steelers have followed for decades now. And Heyward, just going off of precedent, said that after, kickoff on Sunday, he's not really going to have that much hope that a new contract gets done. Continuing on here with what Heyward said, was asked about the public response to his request, which, if you go out there on Twitter, I think it's speaking for the majority of Steelers fans here. I think there's a chunk of fans who kind of understand where Heyward's coming from. He is literally by the, numbers underpaid for his production, but fans are saying, like, hey, you signed the contract that you signed last year, and now a relatively headache-free offseason. Now you're going to drop this on us, moments away from kickoff, and you're one of the team leaders on here. So coming from you, it makes it doubly look bad. Heyward, his response to the public and their backlash for him doing this, quote, this is a business. I cannot play this game forever. And just like I maximize my effort on the field, I want to be maximized outside of it. It's not being greedy. It's just the way the game is. Once again, said that I have to make a decision for my family. This is a business. I cannot play this game forever. So Heyward, understand where he's coming from there. Going to break down, my thoughts and opinions on all of this here in a moment. Couple last things that Heyward, one last thing that Heyward said here. This has been a part of the backlash for him. His brother, Connor Heyward, which I think fans are being a little bit too harsh on here. I know he's not the most, dynamic guy in the world, nor should he be for being a, sixth round pick a couple of years ago. Has had a down year last year when he got the chance to go out there and make plays on the field. He didn't always make them. So Connor Heyward taking a bunch of flack for it. Cam Heyward trying to blur the lines between teammate and brother here, said that, speaking for his brother here, the dude has nothing to do with this situation. He's gone about his business, but he gets dragged on it. I'm a big boy. I can handle what comes my way. That's nothing he should have to answer for. I agree with Cam there. I'm sure, hopefully, a ton of Steelers fans can agree with that amongst, everything else going on with Heyward. If you're going to, if you're going to disagree with everything but one thing that Heyward is doing, at least agree with him on that part. Connor Heyward should be left out of this. But just a couple thoughts here on Heyward and what he said. here today. Say not giving a definitive answer on playing Sunday. That's now just going to extend more drama and open up more heat on him. Didn't say that he won't play, but didn't say that he will play. It's literally the most open-ended answer that you could possibly have. Heyward also, not doing this deal, or if he sits out without a new deal, that is going to be a slippery slope, moving forward. Are fans going to go even more scorched earth on him if he sits out without a contract? Especially, if he comes back with his tail tucked between his legs and ends up playing the next week. I don't know. Back to the just watching him today in the many videos that you've seen online of Heyward and his interview today. From the tone of his voice, ladies and gentlemen, it sounded two things to me. By the tone of Cam's voice, it was like very somber, very solemn. It's like, he's probably lost all but maybe 1% of hope on getting a new deal done. It sounds like at this point, he thought, hey, I told the Steelers I'd come back for more money. I thought, me being a one helmet guy here for all I've done for the organization and the community around me, they'll, be able to give me a little bit of a pay raise, even though I just signed a contract, no problem. So maybe that's why he's a little bit sad, because, he knows that he's not going to get any sweetener like he thought he was going to. And also, I do believe him when he says that he's upset that this whole situation has dragged out for over a month now, because just listening to him, it doesn't seem like a guy that is ready to go out there and try to go chase Justin Fields for 3 hours. I think Cam Heyward is, even if he does get a new deal done, gets his, money and goes out there, I don't think he's going to be 100%, mentally wise, ready to go out there full of anger and just start smashing people like the Hulk. So, that's one thing for Heyward there. Doesn't sound, in the tone of his voice, doesn't sound like he's getting money. Doesn't sound like he's ready to play either. Going back to another comment that he had here, Heyward said that, I'm not going to be in the league forever. I got a definite amount of time here. He's on the back nine of his career. He sees the 18th hole. I do agree with him there, and I understand, while you're still in the game, get as much money as you can. If he would have just stopped there, I would have, said that's a grade A answer for him and an excellent plea for him to get a raise here. Career guy, he wants to get as much money as he can while he's still playing good football. I understand that. If he would have just stopped there, would have been A-okay. Where that quote now kind of gets voided here is that at the end of it, he mentioned his family and he's got to do best by them. And I think there was one quote in there that I just read to you guys where it was like, I've had a lot of tough conversations with my family. That is where Steelers fans, they're going to get you, Cam, buddy, because last I checked, you are a 9-figure earner in your NFL career. I think you're over $140 million in earnings over your career. Having tough conversations about your family, or saying, while you have that in the bank, and I'm sure you're making a good bit of extra change on the side with your podcast and, anything else you're affiliated with. Saying that, making that much money, saying I've had a lot of tough conversations with my family, and then also saying it's not being greedy. Those things, they do not mix together, and they do not really sit well with Steelers fans. A town in Pittsburgh where it's like hard work, just you get paid what you get paid. I mean, sure, you can bitch about it all you want, but when you're making that much money, it's kind of hard to, see your point there. So just thought that was, a step forward for him, making his plea saying, hey, while I'm here, I want to make as much money as possible. Everyone can relate to that, but then fighting it back to your family while you already made a bunch of money and saying like, oh, things are tough right now. That's when that kind of, you took a step back there. So, last note, bit of news here on Cam. My last thoughts here is that if he does sit out on Sunday, after hearing what he said today, mentioned some good stuff, mentioned also some, whatever stuff. If he doesn't play Sunday without any new deal, it's really going to tarnish how people feel about him in Pittsburgh. You would love to have him out there. It's supposed to be an all-in season. Cam said it himself. You either want to be a Steeler or not. And then, 2 months after, I think he made that quote, to completely go back on it and not show up and not play. That is going to flush down the drain. Hopefully not all, but a good bit of his reputation here in Pittsburgh. So we'll see what happens. I just hope, Cam, deal or not, I still think ultimately the Steelers will slide him up a bit of money because, $25 million in cap space. They're not sure as hell going to be using all of that, as we're now, under 48 hours away from kickoff. So, hope Cam plays, and I hope he just realizes that, hey, you signed your contract last year. You didn't get any sort of caveat or condition in your contract that says if I reach this, I want this amount of money. You just got to lie in the bed that you make sometimes, and I hope that he realizes that. Steelers hold all the cards right now. What happens now? I think Cam ultimately will play, but he's got to realize that he needs to play because the Steelers hold all the cards. They can either just, not pay him at all and maybe even, start fining him for conduct detrimental to the team if he doesn't play, or Cam can show up to work and maybe, go out there, perform, and who knows? Omar Khan, as general manager of the Steelers, he has done a ton of things that are outside the norm of Steelers practices from the previous GM, Kevin Colbert, and the previous owners and such. He's, signed a guy who never played a down for the Steelers, the biggest contract in franchise history, in DK Metcalf, brought in a ton of high-profile players while also getting rid of high-profile players like Aaron Rodgers and Jalen Ramsey coming in, Minka Fitzpatrick and George Pickens going out the door. So, Cam said he's not expecting it to get any sweetener during the season, but I think if I'm him, I'm playing. Omar Khan's done a ton of stuff that we once deemed crazy here in Pittsburgh. Maybe he, goes to work, does some hard work, and the Steelers will say, all right, Cam, we made our point that things are going to be difficult here no matter who you are to get extra money when you already put pen to paper on a contract. But because of who you are and everything you've done for the team and, you made your little hissy fit, but then you have been, out there on the field working, then maybe we'll slide a couple extra million up your way. So we'll see how this comes to an end. Heyward, by the way, officially not on the Steelers' final practice report today, was listed as a full participant, and he has no game designation for Sunday. The final injury report for the Steelers ahead of the Jets game this weekend. Only one player labeled as out. That is Derek Harmon, per usual. Mike Tomlin said he wouldn't practice, did not practice at all this week, so he will not play. Hopefully we get to see him next week. And then two questionables. Outside linebacker Nick Herbig for the third straight practice day in a row. He goes 3 for 3 as a limited participant with a hamstring injury. We'll see if he gets out there on the field. I think that he will. You go 3 days in a row as a limited participant without any did not participate, or setbacks there. I'd like to think Herbig, from what we've seen in videos and stuff, will be good to go. And one other questionable, this one, a new one popping up today. Third string quarterback Skylar Thompson listed as a limited participant today with a hamstring injury. So, hot damn, the soft tissues injuries with this strength and conditioning staff strikes again. Skylar Thompson listed as questionable for Sunday's game. Let's hope Aaron Rodgers, doesn't blow out his Achilles on the fourth snap like he did once before in MetLife Stadium. And God forbid that happens. Let's hope that Mason Rudolph will be good to go and that he can stay upright and stay healthy, because Thompson, questionable. That now takes your 3 quarterback tandem, your 3 quarterback room down to 2, and your emergency quarterback's already banged up. So that does it. Heyward says that his team and the Steelers, they're still negotiating. Sounds like to me he doesn't expect anything to get done, but who knows? Maybe the Steelers will be generous. Did not say if he will or will not play Sunday, but right now I like to think that this is a guy who's just sick of the drama and might want to get his mind off of it and get back to ball. So hopefully that's the case. Kickoff at 1 p.m. on Sunday. We will be back here live for that game. Give some instant analysis and commentary for that game. Excited. Hope you all join me back here for that. Before we continue on here, would like to reiterate one more time, if you are new here to the channel, please subscribe and turn on notifications so that you never miss when I am live or have a new video ever again. Also, leave a like, share, and leave a comment on the live stream. Any thoughts, questions, or opinions that you may have, get those in there. Going to keep things rolling here on this Friday. Let's get through this real quickly here today so we can get to the weekend and get closer and closer to Steelers football. Let's talk about the Pittsburgh Pirates here for a quick moment and switch gears. Last night, Game 3 of the Pirates' 3-game set with the LA Dodgers. They already took Games 1 and 2 of that series, so they went for a sweep of one of the top Western teams in the MLB, one of the top teams overall. And my goodness, one guy in particular looked good, and it is the guy on your screen right now. Paul Skeens on the bump opposite Blake Snell for the Dodgers to lead off the game. Leadoff hitter for the Dodgers, Shohei Ohtani. These two guys have met before. That was back. I think they met maybe once out in LA, but if you remember the first time these guys met, it was Skeens against Ohtani in this ballpark. Skeens struck out Ohtani once, and Ohtani got the best of Skeens the following time, hitting a home run to begin the ball game last night. Paul Skeens just challenging Ohtani, put 3 fastballs by him in I think a 7-pitch at bat, gets the best of Ohtani, strikes him out in inning number 1. It was a 1-2-3 inning for Skeens. Fast forward a little bit into the game. Blake Snell, like I said, 2-time Cy Young Award winner on the bump for the Dodgers. And the Bucco Bats, didn't matter that they were facing a pitcher of that caliber on the bump. Bottom of the 3rd inning, Tommy Pham comes through with runners in scoring positions, singles up the middle. Brian Reynolds, he scores easily from 3rd base. Continuing on a little bit later in the ball game, bottom of the 5th inning, Brian Reynolds, with the bases loaded, gets a single into left field. That brings home another run, made it 2-0. Runners are at, there was runners on 1st and 2nd there. That's when Reynolds singled to left field there, scored a run. Runners at 2nd and 3rd. Then with the bases loaded, Nick York. How about him? We've been waiting for him all year, really. I mean, he sort of was just having average production down in AAA, but you traded away Quinn Priester for this guy Nick York, and you didn't see him at all this year until literally this series. With the bases juiced, 2 RBI double down the left field line. It hits the notch and kicks out back into the field of play. solid at bat for him there. Alexander Canario made the second out of that 5th inning, a chopper to the second baseman, but Andrew McCutchen scored from third. That made it 5-0 in the third and final at bat for Shohei Ohtani against Paul Skeens. Skeens, best of him again. Pretty much, honestly, the same pitch that he struck out Ohtani on in the first inning. High 90s fastball on the outside upper half of the strike zone. Beautiful pitch from him. All said and done for Skeens on the night. He goes 6 full innings. Just gives up 2 hits, no runs. So another scoreless outing for Skeens. Did walk 1 batter, but a phenomenal 8. Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 strikeouts for Paul Skeens against the LA Dodgers last night on 94 pitches. 65 of those for strikes, 13 swings and misses. Altogether now on the season for Skeens against the Dodgers, which, 1 through 9, that is as stacked of a lineup as you are going to see across the MLB when they are fully healthy. 2 outings against the Dodgers this year. Paul Skeens, 12 in the third innings pitched, 7 hits, no earned runs, 1 walked, 17 strikeouts. Absolutely insane. He is just on a whole nother level right now. Skeens last night lowers his ERA on the season to a 1.98 ERA, a 1.97 ERA for his career. And spoiler alert here, just, skipping over what happened the rest of the game here for a quick moment. Skeens gets the dub as well, 10-9 on the season. He officially has a winning record, and after that, it would have to take Skeens going out there and just getting shelled in every single appearance that he makes for the rest of the year not to win the Cy Young now. He would have to go out there against like a team like the Colorado Rockies and give up 7 runs for him not to win the Cy Young at this point. I mean, sure, it sucks. You would have loved it to be a little bit more legitimate with Zach Wheeler still healthy for the Phillies, but even at this point, Skeens just 2 starts this season running through one of the highest paid payroll teams in the MLB that has Ohtani, Freeman, Hernandez, Betts, Will Smith. Well, he didn't go up against Will Smith last night. He's dealing with a hand injury, but 1 through 9, tough as hell lineup, and to make them look like boys going up against a man, absolutely insane. Put it in Sharpie right now. Paul Skeens, unless he gets injured, unless he completely craps the bed in however many starts he has the rest of the year, he's going to be your Cy Young Award winner. Just absolutely insane. He is an alien, a freak of nature, whatever Titan-like analogy or adjective you want to call him. He is that. So Skeens dominant once again. Outstanding stuff for him. After he left the ball game last night, Yohan Ramirez, sort of a journeyman, but he's been with the Bucks for most of his career, came in for Skeens. A solid outing for him. Went 1 2/3 innings pitched. Gave up just 1 hit, no walks, struck out 2. Solid outing for Yohan Ramirez. After him, Dari Moreta coming into the ball game, and he struggled. Money Moreta, I think he pitched 2 nights ago, but did well there. Now, last night, struggled. Mookie Betts spoiled the shutout solo home run to center field. Moreta continued to struggle after that, gave up back-to-back RBI singles with 1 and 2 outs. Final score ended up being 5-3 with Colin Holderman, of all people, coming in and shutting it down. I think it was an off night for Dennis Santana. So Colin Holderman, credit to him for as much as he struggled this year and for how much flack he's caught from fans. Solid outing for him coming in and just shutting the door. Some more stats on last night. We mentioned Skeens, 10-9 now on the season, winning record, a 1.98 ERA. Just give him the Cy Young now. Officially, right now, Donnie Kelly his record as the Buccos manager this season over 500 once again, 52 and 51. I think as much as you can put Paul Skeens in Sharpie to win the Cy Young, you can put in whatever irreplaceable marker that's stronger than a Sharpie that Donnie Kelly will be the manager of this ball club next year for as far out of contention that the Pittsburgh Pirates are. Kelly, I don't know what it is or what he's doing. He has this team bought in, and if they were somewhat close to making a playoff berth right now, the Bucks would easily be a team that you do not want to run into in a wild card series. I'll tell you that much. So Kelly, 52 and 51 now on the year, his personal record as manager. The Buccos, by the way, we've been talking about how hot they've been since the All-Star break. Get this, a team that they will face, or excuse me here, the Buccos, since the All-Star break, 25 and 19. That is the same exact record as the New York Yankees. That is just behind some of the other top teams in baseball, the Toronto Blue Jays, Philadelphia Phillies, and Boston Red Sox. The Buccos having better record since the All-Star break than teams like the Detroit Tigers, Seattle Mariners, LA Dodgers, New York Mets, Houston Astros. So, man, just as much as I'm happy seeing that, it just pisses me off more that the Bucks are having this good of a second half of the year that they're not even, close to doing anything. And it also pisses me off even more that because of this hot streak, because I just mentioned Donnie Kelly has a winning record as a manager, it's just going to give Bob Nutting and it's going to give Ben Cherington the excuse that, hey, it was all Derek Shelton's fault. Once we fired him, look, Donnie Kelly came in here. We all of a sudden became a winning baseball team. So don't fire me. Wasn't my fault, even though I construct the roster. Wasn't my fault. It was that buffoon Derek Shelton, which Derek Shelton was a moron. But let's just not get it twisted here that, it is a miracle that Donnie Kelly is still making do with, what he's being handed. So, all in all, solid series for the Bucks. An unbelievable sweep of the LA Dodgers, a team that is tripling them in payroll, probably more. So, congratulations to them. Mentioning that graphic of teams and their records since the All-Star break, the Buccos, they will be facing the best team in baseball since the All-Star break. That is the Milwaukee Brewers with a 30 and 15 record since the break. The Bucks tonight, they begin a 3-game weekend series with the Brew Crew tonight at PNC Park. That is a 6:40 start time, like normal here. And that game is on Apple TV, so adjust accordingly. Starting lineup tonight for the Buccos. Not much outside the ordinary here. Jared Triolo, once again in the leadoff spot, swinging a hot bat. I think he's carved out a nice spot there for him. He is playing third base tonight. No shortstop for him. At first base, batting second is Spencer Horwitz. In right field, Brian Reynolds. Cleanup guy this evening, Tommy Pham in left field, still swinging a hot bat. Andrew McCutchen is the designated hitter. Nick Gonzalez, not at second base tonight. He is playing shortstop. First time in a little while that he's played there. Batting seventh tonight instead of the 6-hole where I think he's been batting usually recently. O'Neal Cruz in center field. Joey Bart bats 8 and does the catching. And at second base tonight after playing first base last night, Nick York. Johan Oviedo on the bump tonight for the Buccos going up against, just mentioned him, Nick York is in the lineup. Who did the Bucks trade away to get him? Quinn Priester, who is having a outstanding season with the Milwaukee Brewers. I think 10-plus wins for the Brew Crew this year. He opposes his former organization and team tonight. We'll see what happens. I think this is a probably the most nervous that Ben Cherington has ever been for a game. Will his all of a sudden scorching hot Buccos be able to take down a pitcher, one of many players that he deemed a failure here in Pittsburgh that then went elsewhere and poof, they're magically fixed. So what will win, the hot Buccos or the outstanding pitcher that Quinn Priester turned into that the Bucs could not get the best of out here? We will see coming up here in a matter of half an hour. The Bucs, by the way, they made another roster move today. They've reinstated right-handed pitcher Kyle Nicholas from the bereavement family medical emergency list. So he is back with the team. Would not be shocked if you see him at some point in tonight's ball game. Cam Sanders, who made a couple of appearances earlier this year for the Buccos, I'm honestly not sure if he pitched at all since getting called back up to the big leagues. He is now sent back down to AAA Indianapolis. So we will see what goes on there. Excited to see if the Bucs can continue this momentum that they built up against the Dodgers. See if they can take down an even better, at least record-wise, team in the Brewers, who have had their number so far this season. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are winding things down here for the week here on the channel before we reconvene back here Sunday afternoon for Steelers versus Jets. Before we get into the more Pittsburgh sports news segment here of the program, let's take a quick stroll here through X and see if we have any new stories or any new tidbits to discuss before we continue on. Interesting here from Nick Farabaugh, beat reporter for Penn Live for the Steelers. It'll go under the radar, but the Steelers have had inside linebacker Malik Harrison working with the edges later this week. Could be insurance in case Nick Herbig is not able to go. Well, that would make all the sense in the world. Harrison says that this is not new to him. It is something he did before in Baltimore. That is just a smart asset management there by the Steelers. I mean, on the inside right now, I think at this point you can clearly identify Malik Harrison as damn near a core special teamer. Clearly, Cole Holcomb, Patrick Queen, and Peyton Wilson are in front of him on the inside linebacker depth chart, and I wouldn't mind seeing him at edge if Nick Herbig can't go, because when TJ Watt or Alex Highsmith needs to come on the field, I'll be a little hesitant, even though I like him and I think he's going to project out well on this team. I'd still be a little hesitant in his first regular season game to just throw Jack Sawyer out there every single time in place of those two. So like hearing that. See if anything else is going on here. We are going to start the more Pittsburgh news segment here in a couple of seconds. Back into football. Talk about the football game last night between the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles. That was crazy. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Yep, we are going to get underway now. So the extra Pittsburgh sports news of the day, we are going to start here today. Let's talk about last night's football game. It was fun, to kick off the season with stress-free football, watching real football go down. And I think, I'm speaking for all Steelers fans here. Did you really tune in last night to see the Philadelphia Eagles hoist their new Super Bowl banner? Or did you really, tune in to see how the Dallas Cowboys looked without Micah Parsons? No, you most likely tuned in for one guy, and that was to see how George Pickens did in his Cowboys debut. And we were on watch all night waiting for Pickens to make one big play and then have Steelers Twitter blow up. Some, not all, blow up and overreact saying, oh my God, why did they get rid of him? I mean, sure, he had his issues, but you could have had two elite wide receivers in Metcalf and Pickens. Turns out we didn't miss much. And honestly, we got what we expected. I want to say his final stat line, George Pickens, was 3 catches for 40 yards. No more than that. Sure, he also had a deep downfield pass interference penalty that he drew, but we're not going to overreact because Pickens, and this was kind of par for the course for the overall feel of last night's game, as usual, lost his mind. Gave a WWE-like clothesline to Eagles safety Reed Blankenship. Not sure. I think that was in the second half. Ended up getting a penalty there, so no surprise there. You could slowly see, when the ball was coming his way or when he was still in the shot, you could see if you were zoning in on him that it was slowly building up. I mean, there was a ton going on all around him. I mean, where do I start? Eagles guy tears his knee up and pretty much ends his season on the kickoff of this opening kickoff of the season. There was the whole spitting fiasco, Jalen Carter spitting on Dak Prescott. He gets kicked out before a defensive snap is even played. Then we got videos later, Dak Prescott spitting. We had, scrum between both teams. So much more went down. I can't even, keep it straight right now. But just a crazy night last night. In high chippy games like that, one thing you can always count on, George Pickens not going to be able to keep his temper in check. So not missing much there. Didn't see much from him in his Cowboys debut. Sticking here with the football for a second. Actually funny talking about watching that game. Tommy Pham, who I mentioned for the Bucks, he's just like us, for real. Us fantasy football nuts. Pirates and their ball game against the Dodgers. They got the football game on in the clubhouse. And Tommy Pham, just not saying it to anyone, hilarious. This from Ethan Merrill. Sees Brandon Aubrey kick a 53-yard field goal, and he goes, that's my effing kicker. Just loves fantasy football. But, oh, trust me, we know he loves fantasy football and that he's all about it. He didn't, punch, who was it? Kyle Schwarber or someone in the face over fantasy football for nothing. So I thought that was hilarious. Last news story here, football related wise, as we head into the weekend and Sunday's game. The Steelers today, they did host former Buccaneers wide receiver Raheem Jarrett on a visit. Wow. Big needle mover right there. He's really going to solve the lack of a clear-cut wide receiver too. Honestly, probably just looking to be a practice squad guy, if that. Who the hell knows? A little bit confused by that one. Back into baseball here for a hot second. We talked about the Pittsburgh Pirates and how they did against the Dodgers in their upcoming game tonight. Let's go down on the farm one more time. Hopefully this is the last time that we mention Connor Griffin for a while, unless he does something outstanding, because guess what? On Wednesday, got hit by a pitch up high, 96-mile-an-hour fastball off his helmet. Was all right, went to first base, stayed in the game. Last night, that was on Tuesday, that Griffin got hit in the head with a fastball in the helmet. Wednesday night, Griffin, again, gets drilled back of the shoulder with a fastball. And to wrap it all up, please tell me that this is the last time this happens, because I'm dead serious. I'm about to lose my mind. Connor Griffin, hit by a pitch to lead off last night's ball game for the Altoona Curve. 3 games in a row. Assuming that I heard nothing else beyond that, he stayed in the ball game one more time and continued on. But at that point, Griffin, hell of an athlete. Like, obviously the future of this franchise from a, on-field player standpoint. If I'm the Altoona Curve at that point, 3 games in a row, I don't care if you just don't have control and you're that ass with where you're locating the baseball. If I'm the Curve last night, Griffin gets hit for the 3rd game in a row. Don't care if it's accidental or not. I'm drilling the next guy who comes up in the bottom of the 1st inning, because that's ridiculous. So please tell me Connor Griffin is done getting hit by pitches. I would appreciate that very, very much. We don't need one of those to, catch him in the head again or in the ribs, the elbow, hand, anything like that. Just he's appearing to be one of those unicorn type players skyrocketing through the minor leagues. Let's not have him get injured on his way to do so. Last piece of news here for the day, and this isn't really news, just thought it was cool. I am the farthest thing from a hardcore Penn State fan, but couldn't help but save this. Gavin McKenna, top consensus draft pick in next year's NHL draft. He now officially at Penn State. Got the first look at him in Penn State threads, and I'm just excited because the next one in hockey is really not that far away from us here in Western Pennsylvania. And also it keeps us salivating the thought of if the Pens have a crap season and they manage to get him in the draft lottery, how sick it would be to have this next generational Sidney Crosby, Connor McDavid-like player go from Happy Valley to Pittsburgh. So yeah, just thought that was nice. Hopefully we get to see a ton of him for years to come, Gavin McKenna, here in Pennsylvania. And I say that sure as hell not referring to Philly there. Please keep his ass away from the Flyers. That's all I'm begging here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, one last stroll here through Twitter, see if we have any straggling pieces of news coming in here before we log off for the day. Just seeing still a ton of Cam Heyward news. Another strange thing about last night's football game, relating it to fantasy football, which I sure play a ton. Two guys that I had on one guy I had on at least one of my fantasy teams, and one guy I had on at least two or three other. What's up with CeeDee Lamb all of a sudden dropping everything after that lightning delay last night? And then AJ Brown, he gets what? One reception maybe, if that. Crazy. All right, ladies and gentlemen, not seeing anything new here, so I think that is going to do it. One hell of a week here on the channel. I want to thank you all for joining me throughout the week. Thank you for helping the channel reach 500 subscribers, and we ain't done. Please set a reminder, turn on notifications when you subscribe to the channel, all that good stuff. Back here Sunday, a little bit before 1 o'clock, we will get ready to break down what goes down in live action. The Jets and the Steelers, probably the most highly anticipated beginning week one game for the Steelers, and who knows how long. Just so much to talk about, so many storylines, so much that we, for months now, have not known, that has been unknown, that will finally begin to be answered here on Sunday. So, hope you guys join me back here then. It should be a fun first game of the year in what will hopefully be a very successful and exhilarating season for the Pittsburgh Steelers. That'll do it. One final time, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications so that you never miss when I am live again. Like this live stream, share this live stream, comment on it after the fact as well. Any thoughts, questions, or opinions that you may have, get those in there. I see those as well. Also, one last time, go give the channel a follow on Facebook, Instagram, and X at Steel City SR. And at some point later on this evening, SCSR60, the final one for the week, will be out. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy your weekend, but be sure, come back here on Sunday. Steelers, Jets, so close, we can almost taste it. We're right there. The off-season and the preseason and all that about to come to an end. And then when we reconvene back here on Monday, if you are unable to watch on Sunday, we will be talking about real NFL football. Thank you. Have a good weekend. See you back here on Sunday. Peace.